is Danielle Mitchell, Assistant Deputy County Attorney, with a recap of the Commissioner's State Legislative Update for February 25th, 2025. House Bill Number 835, cross-filed as Senate Bill 731, titled Charles County Alcohol Beverages Baseball Stadium License Alterations, received hearings in both the House and Senate committees. This bill would allow for the consumption of liquor throughout the stadium. Currently, the stadium does have the ability to sell beer, wine, and liquor. However, liquor may not be consumed anywhere except the dining area. This bill would change that to be consistent with both beer and wine consumption. The next step is for the bills to move out of the committees and receive full votes in both the House and Senate. Next, we have House Bill Number 841, cross-filed as Senate Bill 730, titled Gaming, Charles County Gaming Permit Review Board Repeal. This received a House committee hearing. The Senate committee hearing is scheduled for February 25th. This bill would repeal the Gaming Permit Review Board for Charles County and instead make that process administrative through the county attorney's office. Next, House Bill 1283, cross-filed as Senate Bill 912, titled Charles County Off-Highway Recreational Vehicles Regulation and Enforcement. This bill has hearings scheduled in both the House on March 7th and the Senate on March 5th. This legislation will allow for the Charles County Commissioners to pass a local law to regulate the use of off-highway recreational vehicles, such as ATVs. The Commissioners agreed to provide a letter of support for this bill. House Bill 1284, cross-filed as Senate Bill 728, titled Charles County Governing Bodies Common Ownership Communities Member Training, does not yet have a House committee hearing. The Senate committee will hold a hearing on February 25th. This bill would mandate certain training requirements for members of homeowners associations and other common ownership communities in Charles County. This bill was in the legislative package for the Board of Commissioners in 2024, but it was not included in their legislative package for 2025. They did, however, agree to approve sending a letter of support this year. House Bill 1359, cross-filed as Senate Bill 727, titled Charles County Student Bus Transportation Providers, Provider Displacement, is scheduled for a House committee hearing on March 6th and a Senate committee hearing on March 7th. This bill would require the Board of Education to provide at least 10 years' notice to bus contractors before terminating their services. The Commissioners did agree to provide a letter of support. Senate Bill 729, titled Special Police Officers, County Government Protection of Employees and Public Officials, is expected to be withdrawn, as the Charles County delegation did not approve supporting this bill this legislative session. The bill would have extended the authority of special police officer powers to anywhere within Charles County, as opposed to how the law exists currently, which is just on county government property. The Commissioners received an overview of House Bill 772, titled Education Career Counseling Program for Middle and High School Student Alterations. This bill would remove the sunset provision that currently exists in the law for certain funding that is allocated for career counseling for middle and high school students that seek to pursue careers following secondary education that are not college or university. A letter of support was requested for this bill from the Tri-County Council of Southern Maryland. The Commissioners requested additional information from the delegation on this bill before agreeing to provide a letter of support. The Commissioners were also advised that MACO is supporting this legislation with an amendment that would allow for the county governments or Board of Educations to distribute the workforce funding as opposed to local workforce development boards. The Charles County Liquor Board requested a letter of opposition to be approved by the Board of Commissioners for Senate Bill 824 and House Bill 1379. These are not cross-files, however, they are very similar in that they repeal the prohibition on alcohol sales in supermarkets and other chain stores. Following discussion, the majority of the Commissioners agreed to submit the letter of opposition as requested by the Liquor Board, citing economic impact to current retail establishments. The commissioners were informed that Senate Bill 774, cross-filed as House Bill 969, titled Property Tax Valuation of Operating Property of Rural Broadband Service Providers, has been amended, and that those amendments are being supported by our internet service provider in the county, Think Big, as well as MACO. The amendment would allow for counties to enter into pilot agreements or payment in lieu of taxes agreements with internet service providers that provide internet service to our rural communities. The commissioners agreed to provide testimony in support of the amendment. Lastly, the commissioners discussed House Bill 1036, titled Public Utilities Generating Stations, Generation and Siting, otherwise known as the Renewable Energy Certainty Act. This is a solar siting bill that is being opposed by MACO and a variety of jurisdictions throughout the state. After discussion, the commissioners agreed to oppose the bill and to provide oral testimony at the hearing scheduled for Friday, February 28th. That concludes the legislative update for February 25th, 2025. Again, this is Danielle Mitchell, Assistant Deputy County Attorney.
Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, search Charles County Government on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube. Search Charles County Commissioners. And stay connected for all county news, information, and programs by visiting www.charlescountymd.gov/stay connected.